is making a comeback.
After a long, very long deliberation, Democrat Joe Biden announced his pick for VP. To almost no one's surprise, Kamala Harris will complete the Biden ticket. This is not the first black running for such a high office, nor is it the first woman. Still, Harris checks all the right boxes in the intersectionality category. But the question is, will women come out for the Dems because they like Harris? Or, much like Hillary, will they stay at home because they don't like her? Liberty Nation's national correspondent Sarah Cowgill has been taking the pulse of this crucial voting bloc and joins us now with a skinny on Kamala. Hi, Sarah. Thanks so much for joining us on Truth TV.
Always a pleasure, Lisa.
All right. First of all, what do you know about Kamala's background and personality and whether she has the appeal to her own gender?
Oh, I think I haven't hung out with her. I didn't smoke pot in college with her and listen to Tupac.
Oh, yes, you did.
Anyway, she seems to be a pandering sort, and I'm not sure why. She has a pedigree. She's got a good, background to fall back on. She has maybe worked her way to the top professionally in a lot of different ways, but she's a smart cookie, and I don't see how that is going to help her right now get anywhere. I mean, she's not using her smarts and her wits. She's using random stories and trying to suck up to people, and I don't think that's going to help her.
Well, looking back to 2016, it's really women that made the difference for Trump. And let's face it, a lot of women just simply did not like Hillary Clinton. She was sort of out of step with them generationally. I mean, I know a lot of women that wear pantsuits. And she had this cackle that kind of grated on people. Does Kamala Harris come with the same sort of baggage, or is she an entirely different animal?
Oh, she's a different animal, but Hillary Clinton was a panderer. She knew she could not become popular all of a sudden. I mean, she just is not a likable person. Kamala doesn't seem to be that much more likable than Hillary, but she seems a little bit more with it. I don't know how else to explain it. She's like, right in the middle of the age group. She's not wearing a pantsuit all the time, but she also has her own little set of quirky things that nobody seems to like about her, which is she's screaming and yelling instead of asking questions in Senate hearings. And she comes off a little rough around the edges and a little angry. And nobody really likes angry women.
Well, that's a good point. But it is good to have somebody who's with it on that ticket. Considering Biden's age, she's 22 years younger than him, and his cognitive issues. Do you think she's up to the challenge of becoming president?
Not yet. I don't know if she will be up to the challenge of becoming president by election day. I know she's been in a bubble. She's been in a liberal bubble most of her adult life in California, in her professional life. She's in a liberal happy, bubble in the Senate where she's kind of allowed to do her own thing and the media fawns over her and, they're doing that now. But when it comes down to opening your mouth and inserting your foot, that's where she's going to get herself into trouble. It's her own words come back to haunt her. She comes up with random stories that seem to make sense for the subject matter, but it doesn't mean they're true. And I think that the media is not going to be as kind to her as they have been thus far.
All right. I know you have friends out in the heartland that are both Democrats and Republicans. What do the Democratic women like about her, and what do the Republican women not like about her?
The Democratic women like her because she's a woman. Democrats want a woman. I mean, I have several friends that they don't care as long as it's a woman. Which I think is ridiculous. The Republican women, they don't like a lot of, it's conservative around here. Nobody seems to like that Willie Brown kind of relationship and that kind of smudge on a reputation. I know it sounds archaic, but we are in the conservative part of the world here, and they just don't like it. They do not like the fact that there are rumors out there about that relationship. So that's going to be a dog ear on her record for the Heartland.
Okay, so that brings up her character. And what, is the going talk about Kamala Harris's character out in the Heartland?
It really, they don't like her. She's going to have to turn that tide. It's not that she has to earn it. She has to undo it. They watched in horror the Brett Kavanaugh hearings, and that's not anything that a good conservative group of people like the silent majority want to have in the White House. They just don't like it.
What about people like George Stephanopoulos calling Kamala Harris a moderate?
No, she's not a moderate. She's either so pandering progressive, or she's, packing the gulags in California with, Hispanic and Black prisoners under her AG, Attorney General reign. So she's nowhere to be classified as a moderate or a progressive or a conservative. She's a mixed bag of all those things. It's a little bit kind of crazy.
So going back to the last female vice presidential candidate, Sarah Palin, she had a knowledge problem. What is Kamala Harris's Achilles heel?
Her own words. She's going to trip up. She is going to do and say whatever she thinks in the moment, and it's not going to be right. And she might be a bigger gaffe machine than Joe Biden, even though she won't sound as bad. So I think her own words are going to come back and bite her.
All righty, we'll see if you're right. That's Liberty Nation's national correspondent, Sarah Cowgill, hailing from the Heartland. Thanks so much for joining us on Truth TV, Sarah.
Anytime, Lisa.
And do tune in to libertynation.com for Sarah's fine articles.
Truth is making a comeback.